hope you had a good Thanksgiving, and that if you you know landed some good sales yesterday for Black Friday, that kudos to you. I honestly don't go shopping on Black Friday because I can't stand the traffic and the crowds, never could. So, but kudos to you if you scored some things for whatever, Christmas or yourself. Or we're going to talk about change and chance. I don't believe in chance, and I honestly, this is my personal opinion, I don't believe in luck. I think there's a plan in the works for you. And whether you go after it or not is your choice. But you're being pulled to something. It could be this career, it could be something else. For me, I felt it was legal or the medical field. Medical assisting, physician's assistant, something like that. And I think I would have been okay in that as well. I think I would have loved it in the medical field. So let's talk about a word that you can look this up on Google, the word stuckness. Another term for that, a phrase, would be failure to launch. And here's what stuckness, and I wrote down these descriptions of it. You lost the motivation, or you're losing the motivation to pursue what's on your heart. Number 2, you talked yourself out of taking the steps to pursue something that is exciting to you. And number 3, you're constantly thinking about what could be better or different for you. So when you go to this workplace that you're in now and you're not in say you're not in the legal field, or it could be, I'll say this too, it could be that you're in the legal field and you don't enjoy that job that you're in. Okay, been there. So it's the choice that you make to change it or not. And it's not by chance that these good things happen. God has a plan and a purpose for you. He says his plans are to prosper you, not harm you. Is this the career for you? Sometimes you won't know till you jump into it. Okay, so the question is, are you in a place right now in your life that you don't like? The second question is, do you want to stay there? Third question, are you where you thought you'd be at this point in your life? And are you the person that you hoped you'd be by now? Do you know that you have certain skills that God has given you? Do you know that? If you do, I thought this as well. I thought this thought after I understood that God had given me certain giftings. What am I using them? What are they? And I had to discover them. One of the giftings I have is being a detective, and that's a great, I don't mean an official detective, but one that seeks out answers. And that helps greatly in this career. It takes time, energy, and effort to remain in that stuckness and to remain in that failure to launch mode. So why not use that time and energy and effort to propel yourself into the career choice that you're dreaming about, but not making it so difficult for yourself? I've had people say they decided to go the 2-year route to get that paralegal studies degree or a certificate. One person said to me, you mean I could apply for jobs right now in the middle of my coursework? And I said, yes, unless you're in California and you're wanting to apply for paralegal jobs, no, you have to have a degree or a certificate. But most of the other 49 states give you that third option of just having a high school diploma, or you could have another degree, but it's not dependent on that for you to get in, okay, to break in. Now that may be a revelation to you right now, but that that's only because it's a revelation because you haven't looked up your paralegal regulations for your state. And that's what you need to do. The stuckness is the inability, failure to launch is the inability to move forward, to make change. Why? Why? It's rooted in fear, and fear will manifest itself in immobilizing you. You can't move, so you're going to stay where you are. Why? Because it's your comfort zone? No, not if you don't like it. But because you're looking at the change as it's so difficult. Well, it's learning new things, and you don't learn them all at once. You know, that's why I tell you to have a notebook and you're writing things down. I want you to understand here how much you've already learned, and then pat yourself on the back saying, job well done. Okay, even if no one else says it to you. Fear can breed frustration, despair. Despair is a big one, and depression, because we're not in that field, that career, or on that path that God has ordained for us. That's why it's that churning constantly and not being happy. You know, when we are in what God has for us, it's a complete perfect fit. Sometimes we have to make some adjustments once we're in, like we don't really like this area of law, and so I'll make that switch. But I like the legal field, so I'm going to stay in that, and here's my adjustment I have to make, okay? So, are you dealing with, you know, until I was in the career for many years, and my dad passed away, and my mom looked at me. She moved in with my husband and I. And she looked at me one day and she said, whatever made you think you could get into the legal field? What a question. What a question. And I learned to come back at those things with another question. And I said, the bigger question is, why would I think I couldn't get into the legal field? And she just like shook her head. And the problem wasn't with me. The problem was with my mom, not understanding that you can go and achieve things that is being placed in your mind, on your heart, you know? So was I ever dependent on others' approval? Yes, I was in my younger life. Did I listen to people who thought I was out of my mind or didn't understand what I was doing? Well, here's my secret. I didn't tell a lot of my family when I moved into the legal field because I wasn't sure I liked it. I was going to like it myself, and I didn't trust the response. So I went into it and then made my own decisions. I stopped allowing my spouse input into my career choices concerning the legal field, whether I stayed at a job or left it. Why did I allow certain things in my life to keep me stuck when I could have just gotten up and moved on? It's rooted in fear. And this is so true. There's emotional baggage we carry along that stops us from jumping. If it's that you grew up in a family where you should stay at the same job for decades, that's how I grew up. And they would look at me like that it was shame if you left your job and moved to one with higher pay. And one of my mother's, her next oldest sister, when I told her I'd changed job and gave myself a pretty large raise in doing so, she told, she was like, good for you. And then she told my mother, and I had told my mother first, and my mother was not really on board with my job change. So my aunt said, what is your problem? She was taking her down over it, which was really good, and confronting her about it. She just gave herself a huge raise. Now, I was supporting my husband and my 2 daughters at that time, and this was very helpful to get that raise. So when I was discontented Um, that's when depression can set in, when things collapse in your life, as it did with my family, and we had to rebuild our lives after my husband lost his job of 28 years. My dad went through the same thing. Um, it was happening to us within a span, a lot of family members, within a span of about 10 years, that people were being let go from their jobs. My dad, it was in the late 80s, 89 or so, and then my husband, it was in 95. So even in a law firm, if I'm not enjoying the attorneys I'm working for, the co-workers around me, if I'm enjoying the attorney I'm working for, I don't care about, whether I'm pleasing coworkers, although it would be great if we all got along together. But if I have that strong relationship, teamwork with my attorney, then I can stay there for a long time. But if I'm not happy, I will move on. But I had to be okay with change, and I didn't have to run it by, and you don't either, everybody in your family, as long as I felt I needed to have that income come in, so I would keep my job while I was looking for another one. That was advice from my dad when I was about 19, I guess 18. Have a job before you leave a job. So with a little bit of effort and thought, you can turn your life around, and take it step by step. So what do I suggest? Well, I'm going to launch for Cyber Monday. I am going to launch the Accelerator membership, and we'll have a second. I already launched it. We're having a second launch on Cyber Monday only. And that's it for the rest of the year. And I will put a link in there on Cyber Monday, actually to go in at midnight on Sunday, and ready to join. And I will send an email out to my people. And if you're on that, great. But I'm telling you now, if you're not, then you'll know it's launching on Sunday midnight Eastern time, okay? So here's the last question for you. In the end, it's all up to you. And please like and subscribe this video, because I know there's people that are stopping themselves from moving forward and making that change. So here's some scenarios that you might be facing. So he or she filed for divorce, and my promotion fell through, and I got fired, and they lied about me, and what comes after is those steps that you take. It's up to you. For me, I pray about it. Every job that I moved into, I was like, Lord, please show me, because I don't want to end up in the wrong workplace, in a toxic place, in a place where I'm not, working well with the attorneys. It's up to you, but you have to make that move. You have got to get up and do it. And that's the series that we're in today. You've got to get up. And again, this is by Kimberly Jones, and this is the book right here. This is she doesn't look like that anymore, but that's her a book before the Unstuck book came out, okay? But this is called You Gotta Get Up, if you want to pick up a copy. And we'll go from there. There are things waiting for you, things that the Lord wants to bless you with. And, one of the things I want you to stop doing is negative self-talk. And here's what Proverbs 16:24 says. Kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and healthy to the body. That negative self-talk, this verse is not just about how you speak to other people, but how you speak to yourself. God created you in His image. He doesn't expect you to downgrade yourself or I'll just say it in 2 words, 3 words, negative self-talk. Proverbs 21:23 says, And this is really regarding, it's not just gossip, but that's what I think about when I read this, but it's not just that. Watch your tongue and keep your mouth shut and you will stay out of trouble. So that goes for your work life, your personal life. There are times to speak up and there are times to be quiet. So today's two verses are Proverbs 16:24, Proverbs 21:23, and Proverbs is known as the book of wisdom. So take that wisdom and let it be a blessing to your life, okay? So tomorrow we'll be continuing, but there's a lot to learn about yourself. Don't be wallowing in your stuckness, your failure to launch. Now it's time to move. And will you be moving? We're starting a new year soon. 1 month to go, and we'll be in 2025. January is the hottest hiring time. If there's any reason to get into the membership and learn how to interview, some legal knowledge you need to have that I teach you, the jobs you should apply to, that your cover letter is the single most important document that you have to learn how to create that will raise your resume to the top of the pile. The one module in there out of about 7 or 8 is called Cover Letter Secrets. That alone, that you should be in the membership for that. So all of this is the practical side of being a paralegal, and I teach you that so that it can accelerate you into that career and get you out of that stuckness mode that you might be in right now and being afraid to leave your current job, or you've been out of a job because of whatever reason and you're staying at home watching show after show on the couch and it's not getting you anywhere. It's time to move. It's time to get unstuck, and you cannot do it without getting up. So have a great day. Please like and subscribe so that this will minister and help other people. And what else can I tell you? Go to the website. The link is in the description box, but go to the website and look under every tab and join the free Paralegal Resource Hub today. That will help you greatly. And that is it. Look under every tab on the website. That's all for beginners. Whether you're in a program right now online or a 2-year program in person, this course is for everybody in that mode or anybody without that. You're going to jump in without it. Kudos to you. And but that website is for beginners of all types. So have a great one, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Take care.